pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, just for the record, Commissioner Pierce is on via the telephone. So, welcome, Commissioner Pierce. Okay, item approval of minutes of March 3rd, 2025. I was requested to table them because they're not completed yet.
Just prioritize a few other things throughout the last week.
Okay, yeah, well, let's table it till our next meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Kanowski,
Second.
Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Nothing under awards and proclamations. Nothing under public hearing. No bid openings. Visitors and delegations. We have Lisa from the Lake Region Heritage Center to give us an update on Q2 and requesting the release of funds. Welcome, Lisa. Please
Hi.
identify yourself for the record.
Yeah, Lisa Crosby, Director of the Heritage Center and Lake Region Arts Center. And I'll start with the Arts Center. So January, we had an exhibit that was some things from the college. They graciously donated or let us borrow some things that were in their storage closet. And so we showed some of that for a little bit. February, we had an exhibit, Floral Artistry, Two Perspectives, and that was photography with matching beadwork. And that was a really nice exhibit in the front gallery. And we sold 3 pieces off of that, so that was nice. It was a North Dakota Art Gallery Association piece, so we got 15% of that. And then the back gallery had quilts. So I know during Shiverfest, usually that was around downtown, but now in February, we will always have quilts, local quilt club. So that will be the exhibit every February. Went over really well. So March, right now we have an exhibition. It's Roseanne Olson, and it's a retrospective photography exhibition, and it's from 1978 to 2022. And she's written a couple of books about lighting and different things. It's absolutely beautiful. If you can get in there to see, it's just wonderful. If you can see her photography, it's all for sale too. And they're pretty spendy, and we get a chunk of that. So please buy some. In April, we have Debbie Kaufman, and that will be mixed media. So that's really nice. We have the after school program going on 2 days a week, and that is with the North Dakota Council on the Arts and the Northeast Education Service Cooperative. And they are partnering with us to give us, they give us rent, and then they pay for the teacher, which is Anna Kenner. And we have kids from the middle school come down and twice a week, and they learn different art projects. Today was sketching, and they had a lot of fun. It was really good. Rob's wife was there, so it was a lot of fun. We have a few art classes coming up. The 29th, we have Svetlana Lear is teaching a painting class, acrylic. We have a cookie decorating class coming up this weekend. And then on the 5th of April, we have Cheryl Peterson, and she is teaching the art of felting wool. And that's really interesting. I know you guys probably all want to do that, but it actually is very interesting. I'm going to take that class. So, and that's on the 5th of April. So the classes are coming. They're filling up, and I'm excited about that. On the Heritage Center side, we have on the 27th, Dave Elke is going to give a presentation at Black Paws, and it is on Dr. Seiler. There's a journal that he wrote in book form that was found, I think, in just someone's house here somewhere in Devil's Lake, and given to Mary Lundy. And she said, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And Dave, she gave it to Dave and he read it and he's like, whoa. And anyway, we thought we better share this. And so it turned into an opportunity to share it. And how can we maybe make some kind of funds? We're not charging any admission. It's a pass the hat kind of situation at Black Paws to make some funds for possibly with Maddie at the library to get some software to help digitizing maybe some of the microfiche newspaper materials to get them onto the computer. So just to kind of get that going. So it would be with us and the library, not just the Heritage Center. And then the gala on May 3rd. We're well into getting planning that. So $60 per person if anyone wants to buy a ticket and join us on May 3rd. And that's all I got right now.
A lot.
Any questions?
Yeah.
That was kind of fast.
It's great to hear how the art center's really kicked off. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We're busy there and my volunteers are wonderful. And, we couldn't be open without them sitting there and also helping me put up that art. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So,
That's awesome. Thanks for everything you do, and everything's so much volunteerism, and so you got to count on a lot of help. So appreciate
yeah,
what
we
you
do for sure.
So what's your hours again over there at the art?
At the Art Center, right now, it is Wednesday from 10 to 3, Friday 10 to 3, and Saturday 10 to 3. Unless there's a special event, then it's open longer. Or if people call and they want to come in, because we've had people say, well, I have relatives or whatever in town, we'll open it up. No problem. So,
Have you had pretty good sales on some stuff?
yeah,
Is it-
certain shows sell a lot better. So
Okay.
Cheryl and Dave Peterson's show sold very, very well. I think they sold over almost $3,000 worth of their art. And, we keep 30% of that. If that's a show that we book, if it's a North Dakota Art Gallery Association show, we keep 15% of that. But yeah, so it's, we demand a big commission, but we don't charge them to come into our gallery.
Mhm.
When we get pretty highfalutin, we'll charge the artist to be in our gallery, but we're pretty new yet. So we don't do that.
If it's paying the bills, that's what counts.
Yeah, so we're happy that we're full this entire year. And so next year, I'm starting to book already for exhibitions to come in and show their work, artists show their work. So,
Oh, good.
yeah, it's fun.
Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions? All done?
Yeah,
No.
any other questions?
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Second quarter.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that. We got to vote to do that. Release the funds.
It's $10,517.25.
I'll make a motion to release the second quarter funds.
Commissioner Kanowski,
Second.
Commissioner Eulenkamp beat you out there, Jason. Sorry.
Delayed.
Commissioner Eulenkamp got ahead of you.
Okay.
Okay, you got any discussion? No discussion? All in favor? No, roll call, excuse me.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye, motion carried. Okay. Next item, the Lake Region Public Library, the 2024 annual report, and Maddie will come forward.
Yes,
Identify
good
yourself.
evening.
Please identify yourself for the record.
Definitely. My name is Maddie Sharp, and I am the library director at the Lake Region Public Library here in town. Thank you very much for having me this evening. Happy to give a quick rundown of 2024 and not be asking for any money at this time. So you're welcome for that as well.
Okay, we're already.
I know.
She did say
So,
at this time. though.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's coming. It's just not this time. So I sent the report over, and there are hard copies for you as well. I'm not going to read everything verbatim, but some big things that I do want to touch on in 2024. We had a ton of capital projects that we completed. We painted the interior of the library for the first time since it opened. So rest in peace to the shades of pistachio that will haunt my nightmares. And it's now a lovely off-white cream with some blue accents. It's so much physically brighter and it just looks cleaner. And so we're very grateful for the grants that we were able to get that achieved that. We added a motorized window treatment system to the community room because prior to that, the knob for the blinds, I was the only staff member tall enough to reach that. So we realized that was not quite accessible for all of the groups that use the room. And so now it's just the push of a button to raise and lower the window shades in those enormous windows. We added a remote access point on the door off the parking lot. So users of the community room can also access that space outside of library hours, which has been phenomenal. So I don't have to go to the library to unlock the doors anymore. And that has really increased our usage of our public meeting rooms, which I'll touch on a little bit later. And then, of course, we replaced our HVAC system, which we knew was coming as of the end of 2023. We are now best friends with Terry and Steve at Total Heating and Air. And they were able to complete that for us for a lot less than we anticipated, a little over $56,000. And we were able to cover almost all of that with budgeted funds, grants, and then a gift from the Lake Region Public Library Foundation as well. And so now that the building is in a little better shape, we're excited to just keep on trucking for the future. Some other kind of statistics that I want to share on page 5, for example. We were open longer in 2024 than we ever have been. We were fully staffed for the first time in a long time. And so instead of we used to have to stagger opening times where we didn't open until 10:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We don't have to do that anymore. We're open at 9 a.m. every morning now, which is exciting. So we were open for an extra 175 hours, which doesn't feel like a lot, but it makes a big difference, especially on days like today when at 9 a.m. it was snowing very hard and we had people waiting to get inside and get warm. We issued an extra 425 cards in 2024. Our yearly visits, we had 42,204 people walk into the library. And when I say that, I mean that they crossed into the double doors of the interior of the library. So not just in the front hallway, not just utilizing an outdoor program, but actually physically came into the main portion of the library. And that is up from 2023, the equivalent of the population of Devil's Lake. So we're excited to just continue to see that growth as well. We offered 232 programs, up from 175 in 2023. We saw just under 5,000 people at those programs, which is up almost 2,000 attendance from 2023, which was really exciting as well. Circulation was up by over 5,000 items, digital and physical, and just the physical items in our collection as well was up by about 4,000 items by the end of 2024. We really started to take stock of how our public spaces were being used this year. We hadn't really been tracking that before. And because we opted to make the use of the community room and the heritage room free to all. Prior to that, it had been like a $10 an hour charge. And since doing that in 2024, those rooms were used 243 times by 122 unique groups or individuals. So that means that on average, 10 unique groups or individuals use that per month 20 times. So it's exciting to see and really great to be able to offer that for an interview space, for a meeting space, it serves a ton of purposes: baby showers, birthday parties, Girl Scout meetings, you name it. And so that is a service that I'm really happy we're able to provide. Future pages, again, we kind of talk about those programs that we offered. We really like children ages 6 to 11. That's where most of our programming sat at 2024. But I am very excited that we're expanding programming, especially for young adults this year with our new teen library or children's library, and I'll kind of get to that later as well. On page 7, you'll find our fiscal report, and that details where our funding comes from. We have mills levied on our behalf from the city of Devils Lake, Ramsey County. This last year, we were extremely fortunate to not only have a great level of state aid from the North Dakota State Library, but I also received a fair number of grants from the state library that covered things like painting, the remote access, some of the blinds. And we also received $20,000 for our summer reading program from the North Dakota Department of Public Instruction. And that really helped kind of renovate our teen space. And so we had a nice big chunk there. And we did bring in over $40,000 in other grants and private donations as well, most of which went towards that pesky HVAC system. You'll see that our expenditures and our revenues don't 100% match as of the end of 2024. That is, again, because of that HVAC system. However, since then, the Lake Region Public Library Foundation has agreed to cover the difference between these numbers. And so I have a check sitting in my office. It's coming. That will cover that difference so that we don't have to dip into our reserve funds to make sure that the building is properly heated, cooled, humidified, and able to be controlled in-house, which it wasn't before. And finally, just some fun things on page 8. I wanted to look back at 5 years and just kind of see what things looked like. And then I realized 5 years ago was 2020, and so it was kind of not fair to look at 5 years ago. So I went back to 2019, and things are, in terms of visits, you know, we're still working up to that kind of 2019 peak, but I'm very confident that here in 2025 that we're going to be reaching those numbers again. Since 2019, we've seen over 190,000 people visit the library in these 6-ish years, and that is including COVID, when we only had 13,000 people come over the entire year. But even with COVID and without COVID in 2019, our circulation numbers have only gone up of both digital items and physical items. And so in 2024 alone, we circulated almost 38,000 items, books, DVDs, library of things items, ebooks, audiobooks, you name it. And between 2019 and now, we've circulated almost 180,000 materials. So that's almost the equivalent of every single person visiting the library, checking out one book every time they visited, which is really exciting. And just highlights that usage of our public library is still relevant and important and continues to grow. And I am always eternally grateful for our partnerships with the City of Devils Lake and Ramsey County and all of our other community partners listed on, I believe it's page 5. And definitely would invite you to come into the library anytime and see what we have to offer. And that was a lot of speed talking, and I would happily welcome any questions at this time.
You covered a whole lot.
Yeah. I know, I talk a little fast.
That's what I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I would agree with that.
Thank you. Thank you. We're so excited. I mean, and I couldn't talk about any of it in 2024 because it's really taken effect in 2025. But since bringing on Sam as our children's librarian, our youth engagement and just our youth numbers in the library have skyrocketed. I can't. It's like a new place walking in there after school now, and the kids that are using the spaces, and we have teenagers who are using the teen area, and that's wild. And so I definitely attribute a lot of that to Sam, who ran 22 programs in February alone, you know, and that level of passion and energy is just, it was absolutely a shot of life force that we needed. So very excited to see what 2025 brings.
So Maddie, 2019 showed 50,000 visits. What's
Hypothetically, yeah.
Where did that all come from? Why such a
Well,
disparity?
you know, I can't really speak to why that was so high. Although when I look back at the numbers, there was a month where supposedly in 1 month alone, 30,000 people came to the library. So I kind of wonder if maybe there was a technology bug when the staff gates were getting installed, because that was the year that they were installed. But I don't know for sure. That's what I
Gotcha.
can tell you. That's the first year that we have the concrete data from, because of our the gate that you cross over and actually monitors the people coming in. But yeah, that's my theory.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. and
Thank you.
Appreciate your hard work on it.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Thanks so much. Have a good
Till
evening.
budget time, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Guess we'll be talking, right?
Thank you very much. Next item, the Lake Region State College, the Canopy Study Grant Review and our next steps. And tonight we have Lloyd Halverson with us.
I'm Lloyd Halverson, Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs at Lake Region State College, for the record, Mayor.
Thank you.
And I know you can all read, and I'm not going to read this book to you, but I just wanted to say thank you for the partnership. It was 178 days ago that we signed the memorandum of understanding to work on this project together. And phase 1 and 2 of a 5-phase project has been completed. And this is the report on those first 2 phases, which was to acquire all the resources necessary to conduct a citywide public tree inventory, and then to accomplish that inventory and report on it, which is what this book does. And there's a lot of partners to this: the Devils Lake Public Schools, the Park Board, the college, the School for the Deaf, and the city, of course. And so all I wanted to do was call your attention to a few highlights regarding the prevalence of ash trees in the city, which, as you all know, are probably going to die off entirely due to the emerald ash borer over the next decade or 2. And it's going to, when it happens, it'll likely happen just like the elm. One of the problems with the green ash trees, though, we can't leave them standing after they die because they become brittle, they fall over, and they just smash into houses, garages, cars, people, whatever's in the way. And so we could leave those elm trees standing for a long time. Not going to be the case when these die. So I would just call your attention to page 7, which is after the first hard blue page. That's the project totals, and that includes everyone, all of the schools, all of the parks, including Lakewood Park and the Creel Bay Golf Course. And as you can see, that the green ash tree was the #1 most prevalent tree at Creel Bay Golf Course, northeast quadrant of Devils Lake, the college, the School for the Deaf, Roller Field, Roosevelt Park, Ruger Park, Lakewood Park, south side of Devils Lake, and yes, the northwest corner of Devils Lake as well. It was only the #3 most prevalent tree at the cemetery, but it still makes the top 5 at 361 trees. So other than the spruce trees, box elder, cottonwood, elm, and pine, total ash trees are more than all other trees combined. And 4,467 dead public trees likely on the way. And then if you want to go to page 27, you'll see specific to the city of Devils Lake, including the cemetery, the Elke Arboretum, and the library, all of the trees on the boulevards and right-of-ways. This does not include any private trees anywhere in the city. These are just public trees. So trees in somebody's front yard, in somebody's backyard, on private property, in a business. Those ash trees weren't counted. But the city has 1,639 ash trees that it's responsible for. You can see the rest of the tree breakdown there. And then the subsequent pages show you exactly where all of those trees are. Everyone is marked. The project, the students, 3 students and 1 field supervisor marked just shy of 13,000 trees, exactly where they were, the species of the tree, the condition of the tree, and they actually measured the diameter of the tree with a special diameter tape. All of that information is available online. Spencer knows how to get to it. Your fireman knows how to get to it, Shade Tree Coordinator Corey. And so I'm here to say thank you for the partnership. The city has the expertise, the resources, and the ability to create its own master plan. And they will be, I'm sure, on their way to doing so. I'm going to be working with the park board, and I'm going to be working with the schools, college, School for the Deaf, on a master plan for them on tree replacement and tree removal and replacement and tree identification for treatment from this point forward.
Very detailed, extremely detailed. And very helpful information.
Yeah. So you know where every tree is, and now you just have to decide how many we're going to take down every year proactively.
Funded.
Because if we wait 10 years, when the beetle gets here and kills all the trees, and we don't have any, if you take a tree down and you replace it now, when that green ash tree would have died, you have a 10-year-old tree in its place.
What's the average size would you guesstimate? So got an idea what it would cost?
Green ash
cost per
trees-
tree to tear down, cut down?
Traditionally, the ones that I see are not near as big as the elm trees.
Okay.
They're not near as big around, but I don't
We could-
have
we could
those sizes.
Calculate that, I'm sure, if we.
Yeah. So I had a $40,000 grant. Took me $13,000 to get this inventory completed. And we're going to use the rest of the money to help those political subdivisions take down ash trees and replant new trees.
Is there any grant available for the city to do some of that same thing? Are we aware of?
I think the North Dakota Forestry Service has a lot of grants for tree replanting
Okay.
and those sorts of things. Well, biggest challenge is going to be, we have a vast majority of the ash trees are on our boulevards. And, you know, with the current system we have, we take a tree down on the boulevard, it's up to the adjacent property owner to,
Right.
you know, go get the tree and plant it. And maybe we need to explore options as to where the city plays a more involved role with that as far as planting and watering and making sure, because, you know, when you have, you know, individual property owners, they approach that differently. And if the commission on a broad view views that boulevard trees are important generally, then maybe we need to assess how we can be a more proactive player in it. And that'll be a
With the
conversation.
cost of cutting them down, if they all happen at once, that could be not a good thing either. That'd be a substantial amount.
And I would add, you know, you guys approved a budget amendment in 2024 so that we could take down some obvious green ash trees that were not in good health. We did some of that, and we did allocate more money for this year as well. But we're gonna have to work with the Shade Tree and the Shade Tree Committee and the City Commission on a more probably involved city as it relates to forestry in the community on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. And so now's the time to be having the conversation. And I think if anything, we've got increased line item budget to take down more green ash trees that need to come down or that are clearly not good enough for this year.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, I'm just reading on 36 here where it indicates that in 2024, that south of Jamestown, they were there at that point. Do we have anything in the town now that currently has been affected by this bug?
No, so it was found in Moorhead, and as a result, the communities around Moorhead are in high gear. Fargo removed 500 ash trees proactively to make it so the beetle didn't have that food, right? And they could get replanting right away. And they found it last year in Edgeley, which is an hour south of Jamestown. And so it's on its way, but time is a blessing and a curse. So we have time, and we can take this, you know, fast or slow, but you can also, time, you know, gives you an opportunity to plan, and it also gives you an opportunity to procrastinate. And
Do we want to take them down ahead of time or do you think?
So that's a strategy that Corey is going to be working through, I would imagine, with
Okay.
Spencer and the Forestry Service
Sure.
to decide, okay, where and what trees do we remove proactively so we can get new trees going?
Mayor Mo,
Yes,
yeah, that's where we were at the last, meeting of the shade tree, is coming up with the plan to attack the trees that are currently dead and dying, to get them out. So when we start these meetings up again for the spring, that's where we're starting off at.
okay. Thank you.
And we have to do the same thing across everywhere. You know, I mean, Creel Bay Golf Course has 900 and some ash trees.
Yeah, you can get rid of all those. trees.
Yeah. I've been counting them as I'm in there.
So it's there's a lot of work ahead, but this was the start. But now
Very good
the
start.
real work takes place now.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your hard work on this. Appreciate your assistance.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Roy,
Mike.
thank you for the digital copy of that too. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Just don't share it because, you know, that scanned copy isn't very good. I'll have a professional copy electronically available next week.
Well, that sucks because I already have 50 of them that I was ready to put out in the mail. No, thanks again.
Okay. Okay, we'll move into commissioner portfolios and we'll start with Commissioner Pierce.
Chief Ed, what do you got?
So you guys can see attached to the agenda is our annual fire report. I'll just hit the cliff notes here real quick. It's in there. You guys can check it out. Total calls for service last year were 248, which was down from last year. We had probably 330 calls last year, so that's good. 31 of those calls were fire related. 39 of those calls were medicals, where we will go and assist the ambulance service, and then 26 of them were hazmat related. Somebody hit a gas line or whatever. Inspections, we got out to 236 inspections. We're hoping to get that number up this year quite a bit. We moved some people around at the department, so hopefully we can get those numbers up. We did get to reach over 200 students this past year for different school tours or virtual tours of the fire station. So that was pretty fun. Training wise, for the entire department, everybody involved, we completed over 2,000 hours worth of training last year, which is a big number. Moving forward, we're looking to get a few more people hazmat technician certified for our regional response team. I think we need 2 more, and then that'll be complete. And then we're also going to be developing a course in-house to help train new personnel and our officers coming up on just incident command stuff, if you will. Equipment, we were able to get 45 new radios last year and this year for the siren radio stuff. There's a good number of those that were purchased from DES, and then the ones that we talked about last meeting from Kenwood. So we also got 9 new attack nozzles. That was a joint venture between the city, the volunteers, and then Nordic Fiberglass actually donated $2,500 to help us purchase nozzles, so that was nice. And then looking forward to bigger high dollar equipment things, we're gonna be looking at SCBA's, them come due in 2027. So we're gonna start researching those, see what we want. And then 204, we're gonna kind of start peeling back the onion on that to see if it's gonna be cheaper to refurb or remanufacture or whatever we gotta do with that, or just straight out replace it. We've been talking with a couple of the sales reps, and it's looking probably $2.5 to $3 million to replace that thing.
Jeez.
So we're gonna be exploring some options.
Well, the ladders, basically, the chassis would be fine, probably.
Yeah, we gotta have it all.
You just have to have it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would just add the SCBA's we've got the budgeted plan. We do have money set aside for that.
And they're about what, 8,000 a set now?
About 10.
10. Boy, it's gotten out of control.
If you guys have any questions of the report, just go ahead and ask them.
I appreciate all you guys' work and yours as well. You guys never cease to amaze me, Chief, what you guys can do. get accomplished as a team, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll let the guys know.
I say the same thing. I appreciate it.
All right, if there's not anything else, just let everybody know what I told you last night, Mr. Manning, about the crime task force. I have meetings coming up with the F5 project and Human Service Center and another organization to look into the possibility of supportive housing in town as a possible option for treatment and for the homeless. It's like I said, it's a 24-hour a day staffed facility with professional mental health professionals and all that stuff. I did give Spencer a copy of what Ms. Buckmeyer from Human Service Center sent me, so I wanted to get you a copy, but Spencer, can you get a copy of that to the mayor?
Yeah, certainly.
I appreciate that. So the task force is moving right along. We had a great productive meeting on the 12th. Information is starting to be shared between each other and different organizations. The state attorney was wondering about work release and people working to pay off fines and things of that nature. He didn't know who to contact. And Amachi stood up and said they had lists of people who are willing to hire on folks to do their community service and things of that nature. So information's being passed on. We've worked on getting, we've got a couple different lists of truck transportation that's available in town and contacts for different treatment facilities and things in town that we can pass around. Spencer sent me an email that they were looking at this, get another list as well. Once everything is combined, we'll get that online to post where it could be on our website for the city and get it to the chamber as well, so we can try to get this list sent out for folks. But we're just moving right along, and it's been a very productive meeting, so I appreciate it with Rob and Spencer and everybody that's involved. Unless you have any questions, that's all I have for you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it. Nice update. Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Mr. Grassgard,
Commissioner, how are you?
good, how are you?
Good. A couple things for streets tonight. They'll be cleaning downtown tonight. Have to get rid of the snow before it melts later on this week, but there is some snow down there, so we're going to try and clean it up so it's not such a mess. And crews have been out on a limited basis patching some potholes. We'll get heavier into the pothole patching, as the snow melts, and we can get some permanent patching completed. Those are two things that are happening in streets. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
I don't.
Good enough.
Good enough?
All right.
Okay.
Commissioner Hatch.
Mike, anything from sanitation?
Paperwork was submitted to USDA for their review for the automated truck bid package, waiting for their feedback with sanitation.
Great.
So with that, under engineering, we do have a number of projects that we're working on, and we have to get those plans complete. As part of the resolutions that the commission has to adopt for special assessment projects, the commission has to, one of the next resolutions would be to approve the plans and specifications and direct advertisement of bids. I'm hoping we'll have those plans. Complete near the end of the week. So I would ask for us if we could have a special city commission meeting potentially on Wednesday, March 26th at noon, to approve those plans and specs. Everything has to fall in line with advertisements and timeframes, and we're hopeful that then we will be able to have a bid opening for those projects the second meeting in April. Is that something reasonable?
That work for your guys' schedule?
Works for me.
Yeah, it works for me.
Commissioner Pierce?
I have a meeting with the the engineers for the new LEC at 1 o'clock on the 26th.
We'll be done by then.
All right, so as long as I get out of there before that, I'm good.
Oh, you'll be probably done in about a half hour traditionally. Right.
Unless you want to review the plans and specifications in great detail, we could review that, but other than that, it should be.
I guess you'll have no problem making your meeting, Commissioner.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yours up? Okay, I guess that works. All right.
That's all I have for engineering, other than what's on the agenda later tonight.
That works. Rob?
Board of Equalization meeting will be next regularly scheduled commissioners meeting, commission meeting. So I'll plan on getting my report out to you at least a week ahead of time, so you have some time to review it. But other than that, looking forward to talking about property values. So hope you guys are excited too. Yeah,
We are.
if you have any questions, and if you want, and if you have any questions leading up to it, or if you just want to go over something, please feel free to swing in and go over it with you.
How in touch are you with what's going on in Bismarck? Are you kind of kept
Yeah,
up with
we're
that?
keeping up. So the big House bill that there's 3 of them that are on the Senate side right now.
Yep.
The big one that I think most people expect to go through is 1176, which is the governor's bill. That passed out of committee this morning and is now going to appropriations as is. So
As is.
So the 3% cap is still there. The primary residence property tax credit would go from $500 to $1,450. But the big thing for the municipalities is going to be just a 3% cap on the budget.
Okay. And that looks like it's going to stay that way, I'm guessing.
There's going to be, caps coming.
Yeah.
You know what, no matter how you look at it, that I think that 3% cap is coming.
I would
We'll
say
have to
that
work with it.
Yep. That's for the year one. That's just a biennium, right?
So that's per
For-
year that you can
For the
assess.
next 2 years, though, will be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
for the
they'll
biennium.
revisit it and make adjustments after that, at the
Right.
next session.
If-
if they need to.
I would anticipate they'll approve it, and then there'll be a bad example somewhere, and they'll
Yeah.
tweak it and whatnot. When you make this significant of a change, you can't not. There'll be some bugs, as with everything. I'm
Right.
sure they'll go back and assess it, but I think their intent is clear. And it's basically for the city, it's limiting a revenue stream. Luckily, we're home rule, and we do have to respond to this, be responsive to citizens in a way as far as service delivery and funding. And we will do the best that we can, like we always do.
That will be retroactive for the 1st of January then?
The primary residence
Yes.
would be effective for this year.
Yes.
So applications, if they haven't gotten your primary residence credit app done, March 31st is the hard deadline. Make sure you get in and get that done. There's also going to be an adjustment likely coming to the homestead property tax credit, where currently the income thresholds are 40,000 and 70,000. Those are probably going to move up to 50 and 80. So anyone who may be in the
They keep moving up.
Yeah, anyone who may be in that 80, the 80,000 range, I would encourage them to come in, just fill out an app, get it on file, because then if they make that change.
Is that
we'll
gross?
automatically-
Is that your gross income?
It's net income after you take out, you can also deduct out-of-pocket medical expenses.
Well, so far, so good.
65 or older, for homestead credit, you gotta be 65 or older, or permanently and totally disabled.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
never qualify for anything.
Dominic, what do you got from the airport?
I'm pretty sure everyone's heard. We're losing the Jamestown leg of the flight. We're getting a direct flight to Denver now.
Yes.
I believe it's going to be 2 hours earlier, so we'll be leaving about the time it comes in. Other than that, planes are landing. Everyone's trying to move snow today.
Is that starting now, Dominic?
No, it starts in June.
June, okay,
June 23rd,
I think 23rd, yeah.
something like that.
okay. Well, that'll be good.
So, no, we're not losing the flight. I know someone online was saying that they're canceling the flight, but no, we're getting a direct flight. So is Jamestown.
That's great.
So is our boarding numbers been, I know you said something about last month doing real well.
Yeah, from where we were last year, the boarding numbers have been going up. We're still watching. I mean, this month's not over, but hopefully it'll continue going up. Including with Jamestown, when we lose that leg, the numbers will go up. Hopefully.
Thank you.
That's everything?
Yep.
Commissioner Ganowski.
Mike, sewer and water?
On behalf of the crew out of Public Works, I want to thank you for the mayor and Commissioner Kanowski brought donuts out to the shop last week. Had a good visit with the crew. I think that meeting went very well. They enjoyed having the management of the city come to them and have conversations. So it's very much appreciated. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there was a good group of people.
It was.
It's unfortunate this first time he's out there, but, I need to make a point of being there more often.
You do.
Maybe if I could, in regards to, the big water break and everything, like, could you just give like the Cliff Notes version of, how much water you think that we estimated loss, and then, how much it took to, fix the water main break, and despite all of that, even a drunk driver hitting a hydrant was more expensive, and it's kind of just it maybe it's not real substantive, but it is a little comical, and it's kind of perspective gaining, I would say.
The cost of a fire hydrant, Mayor, has gone up orders of magnitude since the time you were buying fire hydrants, right? So, material costs can be very expensive. As far as the water break itself, the pipe was in remarkable condition for a pipe near 70 years of age, right? Not a lot of pitting, relatively good shape. It was considered a blowout. We lost a massive hole was created in that pipe. There was a lot of stress that was put on it. It's a very thick, very robust cast iron pipe. The one thing about cast iron is it's very rigid. It's very strong, but it's very rigid. And so there isn't any flex there if something is pushing on it. In this particular case, saturated soils and a little bit of frost, there was a lot of load on that pipe when it let loose. But as far as the repairs, we were into that repair for under $10,000. Those couplings, those repair couplings, when you get to be that size, a repair coupling alone is $2,500. Section of pipe, we bought a section of pipe. I mentioned to the city administrator, not very many years ago, 15 years ago, we put in miles of 16-inch PVC pipe, and that's what we repaired this with. We installed that pipe for $28, $29 per foot installed. Now just to buy it, it's over $100 a foot. And you're buying that pipe. So as far as the overall magnitude of the break, with that large of a pipe and very close proximity to the water tower, we lost over 1 million gallons in very short order. With that significant loss of water, it flooded the immediate area. So access to some of the valves, typically if you have a water break, you could close the valves and isolate a section of pipe. But in this particular case, because everything in that vicinity was flooded, you have to start turning valves out back here. And when you go back into the system, you're not just turning off 2 valves or 4 valves, you're having to turn off numerous valves. And then as the water receded, you went back into it just to isolate that section. Once the repairs were put together, we had to go through proper procedures for chlorination, pressure testing, and we pushed, flushed that system up very well and brought it back online late that week. And as was mentioned, of course, the hydrant in that vicinity is a newer hydrant, and that's a hydrant that we were using for flushing that section of main because we were able to isolate things and keep it contained to that area. And that evening when we were finishing things up, evidently there was a driver that happened to hit that one fire hydrant in town out of 600 fire hydrants. You happen to hit the one that was.
It's not one with a breakaway system on it either.
It did have a break.
It did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was repaired. But,
Oh.
But the moral of the story is it cost more to repair the hydrant than it did to fix the water main break.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Just absent the loss of water.
We'll be in that area again this summer. Of course, we made the repairs, but there was some damage to an adjoining manhole that has to be repaired, and the conditions just weren't right to make adequate repairs at that point in time. We want to make sure that we took care of the water line, put it back in service, and patch things up. But we'll be back in there again this summer. That's all I have, Commissioner, unless you have anything about the meeting or any other questions related to utilities.
Meeting worked well, and thanks for being there.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Great to meet most of the guys.
Yeah. That's all I have.
That's it. Thank you. Chief.
Well, Eric and I did a radio show for Saturday morning for the Hyper Reach. It's an emergency, mass notification system that Lake Region Law Enforcement Center instituted about 1.5 years ago. So, and that's for Ramsey County, Benson County, Nelson County, and Eddy County. So we're just trying to, it's more of the, let the citizens, sign up for it kind of a thing. And then it's implemented by the dispatcher where if they have an emergency in a certain area, they can geofence that area. So that's the whole concept behind it. You can do weather alerts, criminal activity, gambler alerts. It could be like an active shooter situation. So I don't think a lot of people know about it. I know Commissioner Hash signed up for it just recently. So
Never knew
It's-
anything about it.
it's
till
really
recently.
simple.
Yeah.
They said they had a media release about a year and a half ago, September of 2023, but we're just trying to push it out a little bit more.
Sure.
With recent things that
Okay.
have happened in our community or neighboring communities. So, other than that, we did a little photo shoot with Lake Region District Health. We donated our nose shave money that we had. It was like $200 is all we had. So it goes to the women's way.
Good,
It's
good
nice.
cause.
Put it on Facebook. And that's about all we got unless you have any.
PR? No. Anybody have any questions for the chief? No? Thank you, chief. Spencer?
Mayor, members of the commission, real quick, on behalf of the city attorney, I want to make sure to let you know that there are 8 administrative hearings in April, April 2nd and 3rd, regarding complaints to determine fitness of dwelling for human habitation. So kind of to lessen the unkept buildings downtown.
Yeah.
So, and if you have further questions, I believe Chief Bennett is part of those hearings. So. And then 2 quick things, just gratitude. Thank you to Commissioner Pierce for his leadership on the Shade Tree Committee and all the Emerald Ash Borer stuff. That's really greatly appreciated. And Maddie's here from the library. And I think we know we've kind of gone back and forth with the library on funding and all those sorts of things. And just given all that, no one can argue that she's made her little slice of the world a lot better than it was when she first got there. So thank you for all the passion to Maddie for that. And then I have the primarily was working a lot the last week and change on the fiscal year 2024 report. Again, a lot of pages, mostly just informational for you guys. I'll just some of the clip notes, common themes across all the departments. One of them was higher than normal cost for equipment maintenance and tools. I think we probably need to readjust our budget line items for those. As pretty much all of those were much higher than budgeted, and the new world that we live in, equipment maintenance is very expensive. And then gas, oil, and grease expenses. When we created the budget in the summer of 2023, gas was pretty high, and we had no choice but to anticipate that would continue. And gas, oil, and grease expenses were much lower, given that the prices went down in 2024 amongst those departments that operate a lot of heavy equipment. Sales tax receipts were kind of in the middle between budgeted and then the amended budget that we had talked about in June, July of 2024. And then we allocated all of our expenses for the American Rescue Plan, all of our ARPA funds, allocated $450,000 in police department salaries as general government service expenses. And so we are done with that. And then the cash on hand approved because we had that line of credit. Remember, the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, we were waiting for those federal reimbursements. So we only had between cash and investments about $9.5 million. We got that back up to over 14 through those reimbursements that we got. General fund, building permits, well over budgeted amounts between the city and the city's ET zone. Interest earnings, again, just slightly under budget. Just kind of, we had that line of credit with the airport on the funding, and we were earning 3% versus we could have gotten 5%, which is what the projection was. So that's where that comes from primarily. And then engineering, legal, and administration fees, almost $725,000 worth of fees there on all of the engineering projects that we did in-house that were transferred to the general fund. So go down to the expenses in the general fund. Mosquito control was just about half of the budget amount this year due to low counts throughout the year. Street lighting expenses were up a little bit. We increased the street lighting fee for this year as that was seen early on. Fire department, we didn't purchase siren radios. We're purchasing them in 2025 as the chief has noted. And then we got grant matching funds. We spent $50,000 to get 8 dual band radios, and we received the grant funding back in 2024 as well, which offset those. Special revenues, highway distribution. We paid private contractors only $11,000 due to mild winter that we had last year. One thing, cemetery, I think this budget cycle, we should take a hard look at the cemetery. Just given that we were 40% over budget projections for openings and closings. And the expenses were pretty fair within the budgeted line items, and we were still $18,000 in the red. And so I think we have a large reserve balance, but as far as the revenue and the expense matching up, unless things that happen that we're not expecting, we're going to be operating in the red long term with that. So we probably need to take a harder look at how we
Where are
fund
the
those
increases
operations.
coming at?
Yeah.
I think it's just the 5 mills that we, there's the 5, I forget how many mills it is, but just we're maxing out the property tax towards it. And that's just not growing at a level to keep up right now. And then it's the opening and closing fees. And then you have your employee, and then you have the fuel and the equipment and all that sort of stuff. We're just, like I said, it's got a very good, healthy reserve balance, but long term, we're going to have to take a look at that. To how we use
Our
it.
fees are fairly low if you compare us to others, because it's kind of a little bit subsidized with the mill rates rather than straight, this is what it costs to open and close and things of that nature. So that's something very much we can look at.
So are we charging actual cost of opening and closing?
No, it's subsidized.
Subsidized with the mill.
Correct.
So maybe we should be charging the exact cost of that.
Something we'll definitely explore for this next budget cycle. And if we need to make changes earlier, we can. Like I said, healthy reserve balance, but it's just continuously not going in the right direction.
Right.
And so we'd be remiss not to address it now. Just kind of detail what we paid for as far as infrastructure wise between the infrastructure funds and Prairie Dog, and then economic development had the $250,000 for the park district for the Dockside Entertainment Project, and then $12,000 in support of the Arts Center in 2024. Debt service, we paid off those 2 bonds, which lowered our principal owed by almost 25% across all the bonds, and then a 27% reduction in bond reserves. Enterprise funds, I think they all speak to this: water, sewer, and sanitation. I looked really hard. Water came in almost $70,000 surplus on the year. Sewer collection and the overall fund came in close to, again, $40,000 surplus on the year. Sanitation was a $72,000 surplus, and I looked really hard at, we were always projecting it to go negative, and there were a number of factors at play. Roll-off rentals and landfill tipping were very much over budget that year. I think there were a couple of demos along Highway 2 that occurred, which did result in increased revenue out at the landfill. And then salaries and benefits were under budget due to a lot of turnover. A little bit overtime costs to do that, but there was a lot of openings, and our sanitation foreman spent a lot of time on the back of the truck helping the guys out because of it. And so, but with the $72,000 surplus, given that we were projected to go negative, I did the math. This year we budgeted about $2.7 million, and so a 1% error is $27,000. So if your budgeted break even and you make $75,000, it was a 3% error. And so we're going to continue to look hard at that for you guys. But better news than what we were thinking. City beautification, one-time purchases, downtown flowers and flower pots, and then downtown holiday celebrations, support to the chamber, and then self-insurance fund. I think we had talked about during the last budget cycle how we were expected to kind of lose a lot of money in that part of the world, and luckily we didn't lose as much as we did. It was only about $25,000. Like I said, that fund goes up and down depending on, we had a lot of claims early on, but we had a good quarter 4 as far as claims and premiums and whatnot. So. We already went over, reviewed the JDA stuff, and then the rest of it is just details on like the equipment reserve. Just again, to update you guys, we eliminated the Eagle Bend equipment reserve and then combined the wastewater and sewer equipment reserves. Those are actions taken by the commission early on in 2024. And then I think everything speaks for itself. Got investment portfolio, debt schedule summary, sales tax and utility collection information, and economic data. So give it a review. If you have any questions, please just give me a call and happily walk you through it. And the 200-page detailed document was attached to the last commission agenda. And I think I sent it out to you. So you can look if you have questions there. Just let me know. Otherwise, than that, a lot of gratitude to the commission and city staff, and looking forward towards summer.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice report. Well, Jason's not here, and you got.
Yeah, I just did that.
Did his,
yeah.
so. Okay, anything else for the under portfolios? Now we'll move on. And under old business, we have the city facility long-term planning and funding options.
There are more members of the commission. We said at the last meeting that we were, the city engineering department was working with architects to try and get cost estimates for some of the ideas that we had discussed. Relocating the police department to City Hall, renovating at City Hall, building a garage, possibly relocating City Hall to a dilapidated building downtown and fixing up, or what would it cost to build new? And Mike and Devin met routinely with the architects, and they have a cover memo and deliverables from those architects, and so I'll have them give you the Cliff Notes version. I will make note it's very fresh. We got all the information on Friday, and we put it out today so you guys can all see it. You can read it. I think the biggest thing is we're still digesting it, and obviously you guys would still need time to digest it as well. But Mike can give you a high-level overview, and then we'll answer any questions you may have right away.
Spencer had mentioned we had worked with a couple different architectural firms to help a little bit refine the estimate. You know, we started having the conversations with the working group, and it started out as remodel City Hall, and then it kind of expanded into looking at other things. And at that point, we were looking at some numbers that were basically back of the envelope type calculations. And we wanted to refine that a little bit, but I'll still caution the commission that these are kind of high level order of magnitude costs, right? They're not site specific design level numbers. They're order of magnitude based on cost per square foot. Here's what we're looking at. And so keeping that in mind, all I did was we worked to write up a little summary memo saying, okay, here's the reports. The reports are attached that we did receive from the architects. Kind of broke that down. So if you look at the front part of the memo, it talks about just remodeling city offices for continued city office use. The estimate there was it ranged from $1.3 to $1.9 million. And then with estimate 2, it was looking at remodeling city offices, attaching a garage adjacent to the city offices, so it'd be a connected building on the empty lot that the city owns just to the west of city offices, remodeling that into the police department use. The estimate for that work was 2.9 to 3.7 million. If the police department were to relocate to city offices, you have to look at, well, where is city offices going to go? And we looked at a couple different sites downtown. One is just building new on a city-owned parking lot. And with that, that was the estimate for that work was 3.3 to 4.2 million. And then if you were to remodel, you know, some building downtown, looked at 2-story, looked at 3-story, looked at different options and order of magnitude costs for doing that. That was 3.3 to 4.4 million. So if you look at the summary on the back page, you know, the different options, if you remodel city offices and construct a new city office building in the downtown location, it was 6.2 to 7.9 million. And if you remodel city offices and look to remodel an existing building downtown, it was 6.2 to 8.1 million. Again, I'll caution you, these are order of magnitude numbers, right? It's better than a back of the envelope calculation. It's based on cost per square foot. How much do you want to get into it? How much do you want to renovate? And those sorts of things. One of the big items at city offices, honestly, a big ticket item was the HVAC system, heating, cooling. You guys feel it in this room. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold. So they had looked at revamping that energy efficient. You can control all of that once you identify what you're going to do, right? You can say, hey, we're not going to totally revamp something. Here's what we're going to do. But when they looked at it, this is what they felt the cost would be. And again, we did get the information late on Friday, tried to put together a summary that the commission could evaluate without having to dig into the reports that were attached, and then get it out there for further discussion.
I think that in just reviewing it over the weekend, and one of the couple of big takeaways is to relocate City Hall to an existing building downtown or to build a new one costs about the same amount of money, given that we would have to retrofit for our needs, need a big commission chambers, some open office space, those sorts of things. And so if the hypothetical question, if it costs an extra $250,000 or $500,000 more to move into an existing building, does that provide enough public benefit versus a youth building, right? Mary, you and I went to the chamber board meeting today, and they the sense was
they'd like to see us remodel an existing building.
The ones that did attend felt that would be a better use of the money, even if it cost them a little bit more. That was the sense that we got from specifically that group.
Correct.
And as far as the Devils Lake Police Department, you could hypothetically, and it's one of the things we'll talk about or talk in the future is to build a new police department, right? Well, if you built a new police department, it's probably more efficient to do it not in the downtown district. So what's the value of putting it in the downtown district? Because you would end up paying for it. And so I do still think we were hoping that the ideas, the estimates on the ideas were 5 to 6 million, and it turns out that, it's more that 6.2 to 7.2. Looking at the, run on an Excel spreadsheet, I do think some of this is still doable, but there's still a lot to digest. And we want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to as well. And so our hope was that we could get this in front of you. If you guys have any immediate questions, you can ask and make sure we'll go follow up. And then maybe we need to have a facilities task force meeting or working group or whatever between now and the next meeting. And then we could more dive in at the next meeting where we could possibly go with the information we have. So would ask for any questions or feedback that you guys have given what we've been able to provide today.
Okay.
Some big numbers.
Big numbers. Yeah, I know it. Yeah. But let's, I guess, take an opportunity to read thoroughly through it.
Yeah.
And then, like Spencer said, maybe we could have a meeting to,
And we
With
are
the-
meeting on the 26th, so we could add this to an agenda item as well on that meeting on the 26th to further discuss.
do you think we'd have a chance to read it and have a ability to answer any questions by then?
Yeah, I think some of the problem you have is that the PD's not gonna, if they can't be in the LEC and the LEC goes somewhere else, you have to have a place. And so it's either build them something
Mhm.
or spend a lot of money for rent.
But
every
if you
year.
build them something, we were saying staying downtown.
Yeah.
We probably unlikely to stay downtown if we were to build, right?
Correct. Well, if you stayed with the LEC, you're not gonna be downtown. And
No.
response times are gonna be less.
Yeah. But there are some options for locations other than downtown.
Yep.
With city-owned property. So, that would be an option too.
Sure.
So those are things that we have to discuss.
So we can probably talk during that
Put it
meeting
Put it on the agenda
on the 26th.
on the 26th.
Yeah,
I
that
think that's doable.
Unless Pierce is gonna be.
Does that work for you, Jason? Well, have that discussion.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I think we still can accomplish most of that within that hour.
We could put
Yeah.
the facility agenda item first, and then
Yeah.
designs and specs. If he has any concerns, he can let us know in advance.
Spencer, are you gonna send out an invite just so I don't forget?
I'm writing a note to myself right now.
All right, appreciate it, thank you.
Okay. Well, with that being said, no action necessary. We'll move on to consent agenda. There's nothing there. And now under new business, we will go to number one item, transfer of liquor license from Thirsty's Bar and Grill. And if they're present here, we have Sarah and
Well, he likes to be called Big.
who?
Yeah.
Big.
Big?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
You can tell him your name, but
Yeah, it's BIK, but it's the same pronunciation, same meaning. So, and just go by Big.
Okay. I can live with that, Big.
yeah, easier.
Right.
Okay. And you're here to,
So
Spencer?
this is an application, and the applicant's here to transfer the liquor license from Thirsty's Bar and Grill to this new gentleman here.
Yes.
And like I said, with the last one that you guys considered, it'd be $100 fee for the transfer, and then we'll prorate. Well, yeah, $100 fee for the transfer, and then we would renew in June, assuming everything went well. And so basically can tell us the vision you guys got for the place, and you guys ask any questions of the applicant here. And maybe if you are inclined to approve it after the presentation, to just do it subject to city attorney review, as we got the application. I think Mr. Saylor was going to make last week.
that includes the background and everything stuff, or do you know?
It typically goes to the PD, doesn't it?
Yeah. Just a formality so that,
Yeah.
but I'm sure we have no issues. We want to do our due diligence. So, but, okay, kind of explain to us what your plan is.
What?
What do you have planned for the place?
Yeah.
So for the start, I will do as what she had before, and we will add sushi and boba tea on top floor. And when things get slowed down a little bit, and I would like to add Asian food as well, like fried rice and a couple things here and there, and Texas barbecue and hot pot in the future.
Go from Chinese to Texas barbecue. That's okay. Sounds
He's
good.
got a lot of plans.
Yeah. No.
What was the last thing you said?
Hot pot.
Hot pot.
Sure they don't know what
Oh,
that
hot
is.
pot.
Yeah.
Hot pot is like I'm not too sure if it's a Japanese or Korean dish. It's really popular in Asia. So.
Wow.
And we have a lot of customer here that like when I tell them that there was like we go to Minnesota to eat hot pot from here. So I tell them you guys don't have to do that anymore. So we'll have it in town now.
So what is it exactly?
It's a soup thing. Come with the seafood or beef or chicken.
Is it like pho?
It's a little bit different, but yeah.
You don't need to
when we
explain.
have it, yeah. Come stop by and check it out.
So are you gonna be the owner of the building then, or the renter, or what?
I'm already owning the Japanese sushi stop. So and this time we put everything under my wife's name. And
Good idea.
She is
Smart man.
She is in Indiana right now. She can be here. She is learning boba tea right now.
You're going to be the owner of you're selling everything too.
Yes,
this
yes,
gentleman. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, boba tea.
That's the name of it?
That's one of the things he's gonna have.
Okay. So when you plan on having this all starting to go? And
I want to start it on my wife. Want to start it next month, the 7th.
April 7th?
They're pushing for the 7th of April.
Okay.
So you'll occupy the whole building?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Okay.
downstairs, it's gonna be just like I had it.
Okay,
Food, we're gonna have food, everything that was in there before, and then
okay,
the bar, and then upstairs they're doing sushi.
okay.
So you're aware of the requirements, so the server training that's required and all. You'll have to meet all those requirements.
Oh, yeah,
You
he's
fill
he's
them
got
in.
all, yeah. I've been helping him getting him all his license in order.
Okay.
And I think I spoke with the chief of the department at meeting to know this application was coming. And you said that Mr. Gilbert, we'll have Mr. Gilbert's meeting so they can talk about, just hedge off some potential.
Correct, yes.
To make sure that everything's
Right.
all. You can ask many questions.
It's
Old Spirit and sushi.
Old Spirit and sushi.
Old Spirit and sushi, yeah.
Well, and
Where'd you get that name?
Well, I don't know. People call it the alcohol spirit.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Spirit and sushi, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
There you go.
okay.
put big in front of old. Big old.
Okay, well,
I'll make a motion.
contingent on the,
Yeah,
with
contingent
the,
on
on
the,
the
Additional
attorneys.
requirements?
yep,
Yep.
the requirements of the.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Kanowski,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion? No further, Jason, you got something?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. No further discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye, motion carried. Well, good luck on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The next item is cost participation agreement with the North Dakota Department of Transportation, 14th Street and 14th Avenue. Blake?
That's a standard agreement because we're utilizing federal funds through the Department of Transportation for construction of the pavement on 14th Street and 14th Avenue Northeast, Midco Road and the roadway going north of the cemetery. We have to execute the agreement with them. It outlines the They'll cover just over 80% of the construction costs of the project. Right now, the estimated project cost is just over $1 million, and they will be funding up to just over $700,000. Recommend approval of the agreement.
So that's just the asphalt. Are they doing curb and gutter on that at all or nothing?
No curb and gutter. There'll be some minor work on the tie-in points, but for the most part, we're going to shape the roadway that's there, add some additional gravel, bring it into section, pave it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
address
I
the
had it
shoulders.
earlier.
You're on there, Mayor?
I'm working on it.
Trying to ask a couple questions over here and you're just talking.
You should make your
I'll
screen
make a
bigger.
motion to approve.
Oh, okay, we don't need Mike. We have a motion by Commissioner Hatch,
I'll second that.
Commissioner Kanowski, second. Okay. Any further discussion?
With the approval, so Mayor, the administrator, city attorney, and yourself should be getting those emails that you like where you approve the DocuSign.
They're normally pretty easy, but they're
Just
also,
sign
they
one of
come
them.
complicated, huh?
Just sign one line. Not all.
Okay.
It should only let you sign one
Well,
line.
it should, yeah, but, okay. There's some inside jokes to this, I get it. Okay. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Citizen comment. We have nothing. And we have informational items. We have the January 2025 finances.
Remember, it's the second meeting of March. Normally we'd have the February one, but this is a large document. So just attach January's 2025s, and then I sent you February's. Anybody that wants, we'll attach February's to the next agenda and thereafter, but anybody that wants an expedited review of February's, I can send.
Okay, and now I entertain a motion to approve the bills as submitted.
So moved.
Commissioner Ulicamp
I'll second.
and Commissioner Pierce.
Ooh, I got one in there.
I was gonna say, this is your first one tonight there, Commissioner.
I know, it was just quick on the draw.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Eulenkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanowski.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
President Moe.
Aye. Motion carried. If there's no other business to come before the commission, meeting,
One question.
oh, okay, we go.
I just have a question because I've been asked this
Okay.
question. This Jimmy's Pizza.
Oh,
out in- is that-
yes.
Yeah, it's a,
The pizza place?
Yeah,
It's
the
a little
pizza place.
trailer out there.
like, are they required to get permits to
Yes,
set
they
up
are.
shop there? Do they have one? Because I've been asked that.
There was one that we approved. I forget. Was it that one?
They normally have
Yeah,
the
it was,
appability
yeah.
to prove it here, just in City
Yeah, it
Hall.
was approved a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know we approved a
Okay.
transient merchant
Yeah.
permit. I don't know. that
How long
exact
is it
one.
here for, though?
Yeah, how long are they here?
I have to review the permit again.
Where are they from?
Painesville, Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Are they any good?
Is it like a take
Yep,
and bake?
yeah,
it's
the
or-
roads
good.
are pretty good.
Yeah,
It's a take, is it like a take
but I'm
and
sure
bake
the
or
ones
they
that are
cook it
selling
there?
pizza
They
are
cook it
not
there.
happy about it, yeah.
That's all
They
right.
gotta pay for a $500 permit. I think that's what it was.
Okay, that was just my question because I've been asked.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I saw it there, but I didn't know, I figured it, because they can in-house
gotcha.
permit it.
Yeah, approved by resolution of the commission. So if
Right.
you guys want to see all of them, we can change that.
Yeah.
No.
No,
I have a couple questions too, been thinking of it. Just so, I've been asked, so I just want to know what to tell them. Do we know what's going in where the old thrift store was? And what is that being built on College Drive, that there was an old bank there?
okay, first of all, thrift store, out on the highway,
Yes,
there's a cleaning company in that old thrift store place.
okay.
They're putting a new front on it, the way it looks.
Okay, I didn't know if there was something in there, they've asked me and I didn't know what went in.
It's a professional cleaning company or
Yeah.
something?
Steam Tech?
Something like
Steam
that.
Tech?
Yeah, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
Came onto mine on.
He's married to Wes.
And the other question was what?
They're building on College Drive there, towards the intersection of College Drive and Highway 2. There's a big building that's being, it was just put the shingles on it. There used to be a bank there. What's that gonna be?
Is that, are
That's
you
the
talking about the
remodel for the
West, is that the Western State Bank edition?
That's
Is that what that is?
Yeah, we're adding on to the current building that was there.
Okay,
Yep.
Okay.
I appreciate the information.
Yep, no problem. Anything else come before the commission? Not, meeting adjourned.
Hey, Lisa, aren't they